In today's conversation, I'm going to show you the three biggest problems that's holding authors from making more money from their books. And I'm going to also give you solutions to those three problems, right? These three problems I'm going to be showing you, they are centered around one thing, and that is selling. So if you're an author and you're having problems selling your books, then I want you to stick with me, because by the end of the video, you will learn a thing or two or more things about selling than you've ever learned in $2,000 programs, $5,000 programs that you paid for in the past, right? So, in today's conversation, I'm going to be giving you these three different biggest problems with selling that's stopping authors from making money from their book, that's stopping them from earning from their labor, stopping them from getting paid what they are worth. The Bible says that the laborer is worthy of his wages. So why would authors work hard? They'll think about the book, they'll conceptualize the book, they'll go ahead, sit down, break their back, write the book for days, weeks, months, and for some, even years. I've met authors who spend 20 years writing a single book. That's how passionate, that's how diligent authors can be. And so it breaks my heart when I see authors who are putting in the work and they are doing all the hard work, but they are not getting paid what they are worth. They are not even making any money. Most authors never make up to $1,000 from their book in an entire year, right? So what is the problem? Why are authors so gifted but broke? Why are authors so blessed but broke? Why are authors so full of wisdom, full of knowledge, but they lack the currency to back it, they lack the cash flow to back it? Well, I'm going to be showing you those three fundamental problems around selling that makes it almost impossible for authors to sell their books, and I'm going to give you 5 sub mistakes, 5 sub problems under each of these three problems, and then I'm going to give you a solution, a turnkey solution for each of these high level problems that you can literally go and deploy into your author business and be on your way to getting paid what you're worth, getting heard, seen, and paid as an author. Now, let's dive right into my digital blackboard and begin to unpack why it is that many authors can not sell. Now, the first reason I'm going to give you is that many authors, don't know how to sell. How can they know how to sell? You see, authors will spend their time writing, they'll spend their time thinking, writing, conceptualizing, they'll spend their time publishing, they'll spend their time formatting the book even before they publish it, proofreading it and editing it, but they spend little to no time learning how to sell. Right? That's the life of the average author. That's the life of a typical author. And that explains why many authors are broke. Right? When it comes to selling, many authors are blank. They have no clue. They have no clue how to sell. Right? But guess what? All the monies that you're looking for right now, they are in the hands of people. Right? And these people are waiting. They're waiting patiently and sometimes impatiently for you to show up and give them a reason to part away with their monies. And that reason has to be a good reason. So why is it that many authors don't know how to sell? Because they've never been taught. They've never been taught what selling is, right? They've never been taught what selling is. Most authors think that selling is begging. They think that selling is begging, right? So let me write it down. Most authors think that selling is begging, so they have what I call a begging behavior when it comes to time for them to sell. They have the mannerisms of a beggar. They show up in the marketplace with a beggarly attitude, and so when the marketplace spots that beggarly attitude, they immediately get turned off, and that's the kiss of death. Nobody will buy from you. When you show up in the marketplace saying, please buy my book, please buy my book, please help me, please support me. When you do that, you've just limited yourself. You've just told them not to buy. In fact, when you're doing that, the more you do that, the more you beg them to buy, you're telling them not to buy. And that's what most authors do, because most authors have never been taught what selling is all about. They know so much about writing, they know so much about editing, proofreading, publishing, formatting, publishing, but they know nothing about profiting. They know nothing about getting paid what they're worth. They know nothing about selling. The very skin, the very thing that moves the needle for authors, they don't know how to do it. And what is that thing? Selling. Right? So that's it. So the first mistake that makes it very, very difficult and almost impossible for authors to sell their books is what I call the begging behavior. And then the next one is what I call the shouting strategy. Many authors think that the louder they shout in the marketplace, the more people will buy, right? But guess what? The louder you shout, the more you wear people out, the more you wear the marketplace out, the more you tell them not to buy. The next one is the stress selling approach. What do I mean when I say stress selling? Stress selling is the approach where you put pressure on people, you pressurize people to buy. You see, there's so much about selling that you need to understand as an author around the psychology of buying. Why do people buy? You want to understand why people buy. When you understand why people buy, you have no business stressing to sell. You have no business shouting to sell. You have no business begging before you can make a sale. Selling your books does not have to feel like a miracle when you understand the psychology of selling. And that brings us to the next mistake that most authors make, and that is chasing customers, right? They think that chasing customers is what will make them to buy. And when you start chasing customers, customers will start avoiding you. They start running away. When you chase, they run. When you become masterful at selling, you will learn what I call attraction. Right? Attraction. You start becoming good at attracting your ideal customer. And when you become good at attracting your ideal customer, selling becomes easy. Right? Selling your books become easy. Now, the next mistake that most authors make under the main one, which is they don't know how to sell, is that they price panic. So when most authors are trying to sell their books and they see that nobody is buying, they think, oh, maybe if I reduce the price from $15 to $8, people will buy. But guess what? People do not buy books because it's cheap. People buy books because it contains a solution that they want. And when you don't understand all of these, you'd waste your time, you waste your resources, and you end up not being able to sell your books, right? So why do authors not know how to sell? Because they show up in the marketplace with a broken sense of value. They show up in the marketplace without understanding what value means. Let me show you something here. They think that what is value to them will be value to their readers. But it doesn't always work that way, right? Most time, what is valuable to you as an author may not be valuable to the marketplace. And so you want to figure out ways to take what is valuable to you and transform that thing that is valuable to you to something that becomes valuable to the market. Until you get good at transforming what is valuable to you to what is valuable to the market, then you will never make a sale. You will never get people to happily pay you what you're worth. You will remain unpaid, unheard, and unseen. Now let's go to the solution. What is the solution to this problem where authors don't know how to sell? Well, the first one is that you want to learn how to identify pain, and then you want to get good at painting possibilities, and then you want to get good at presenting the path to those possibilities. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by identify pain? You see, when you get good at identifying pain, you become a magnet. You become a magnet to customers. You become a magnet to readers. You become a magnet to buyers. You see, most authors are terrible at identifying pain. They just want to write a book in a vacuum. But no, you must figure out that pain that your book is going to be a painkiller for you, because in fact, if your book is not written like a painkiller, then you've just shot yourself on the foot. And someone may be asking, does this work for fiction authors? Yes, even as a fiction author, your story, your novel, your whatever should be crafted like a soothing painkiller that will soothe the ache and pain and give entertainment value, right? The next one is to paint possibilities, right? As an author, you must get good at painting possibility with words. You must be able to use your words to paint pictures that can be hung in the minds of your ideal client and the ideal customers like a frame, right? If you don't get good at using clear word pictures in your communication, it becomes almost impossible for you to be able to get people to buy into your idea and to buy from you, right? Before anyone buys your book, buys your course, buys your program, or buys whatever it is you want to sell, they have to first buy into your idea. Then they have to buy into you. But before they do all these things, you must be good at painting possibilities for them that is worth buying into, right? And then you can now present the path, right? You present the path by showing them the opportunity, right? So think of your book like this. Think of your book like a vehicle, right? Think of your book like a vehicle that is going in a particular direction, right? When you're able to show them the path, right, and say, hey, this is where I'm going to take you. Now, these are your readers. These are your readers. Now, as an author, you should be able to paint the path. You should be able to paint the path for these people so that when they see you, they'll be like, wow, this is what I've been looking for all my life, right? They see that you're going to this destination. They see that you're going to this island, right, where the land is green, a land of opportunities, right? They see that you're going there. You should be able to show them the path, right? Or the possibilities. You paint the possibilities to them, and then you present to them the path. You present to them the opportunities to come on to join the ride, to get on the ride, which is your book, and move to this destination that you're taking them to, which is what they desire. It has to be something they already desire. Now, having dealt with that, let's talk about the next thing. Let's talk about the next reason why many authors do not know how to sell. Now, the next reason why many authors can't sell their books is because they don't know who to sell to. The first one is they don't know how to sell. The next one is they don't know who to sell to, right? And how do you know when you don't know who to sell to? When you don't know who to sell to, then you start bugging your family, you start bugging your friends, right? Because of what I call family fantasy. You have this fantasy that when you write your book, your family members will support you, right? So because that's your mentality, you start trying to sell to your family members, and so when they refuse to buy from you, you become discouraged. In fact, I know what I'm saying because I've been there, right? And let me let you know that your family don't owe you anything, right? The marketplace does not owe you anything. You must get good at communicating your value so powerfully that you don't need people to support you, or you don't need people to help you, right, before you can make a sale. Now, having support is good, and I encourage people to be supportive when you're trying to break into a new ground, when you're trying to do something novel, when you're trying to do something meaningful. It is great to galvanize support, and it's great to be supported. It's great to have support. It's great to seek support. All of those things are good, but if support is the only strategy that you have to sell your book, you're going to be broke. You're going to be really, really broke, and you're going to struggle as an author. Why? Because how many people can you actually galvanize to support you, right? You see, you need to understand something about selling. Selling is not about convincing people to do something for your reason. Because now when you start getting people to support you, they are doing it for your reason, right? That's why it's a support. They are helping you. And that's not selling, right? That's begging in a way. But when you start learning and mastering the art of selling, you start getting people to do things for their own reason because it's in their own best interest. Then you are delivered from the fantasy of, hey, my family members will buy from me, and so you don't even care. In fact, when you get good at this, you will be releasing books and your family members may not even know why, because your family members are not your market. When you understand your market, you know exactly who to sell to. And so many authors, they think that hey, what they need is to do more marketing, do more advertising, but guess what? They don't even know who they are trying to sell to. They don't even know who they should be talking to. They think that their family is their market. So that's what I mean by family fantasy. Now the next one is what I call friend fallacy, right? And this one is similar to family fantasy, but it's just that now that your family members are not buying from you, you now want to go to your friends and you want to pester them, you want to bother them, you want to bug them, you want to bore them with the buy request, and you hope that they put some value on your friendship enough to buy your book. And so when they don't even buy your book, then it means that they are not your friends. But guess what? That is also a terrible strategy. How many friends do you have? Let's say you're so outgoing and so you have 20 friends, and then you have 6 family members, and let's say you got maximum support from your family members, and so 6 people bought your book, and then you got maximum support from your friends, which is highly impossible. But let's say 20 of your friends, they support you and then they buy your book. 26 people times $20, right? How much does that get you? That gets you about $520, right? That's not good money, right? What can you do with $520? So you have to think beyond just your friends and your family, right? Now, the other reason why many authors don't know who to sell to, or the other mistake many authors who don't know who to sell to, the mistake they make is that they have what I call service shortage. Now, what does this mean? It means that many people, they want to write a book, but they really don't know how to actually help people get a transformation that they desire. And so they end up just writing a book that is full of information junk. They write information products and they put it out there, and they don't really know how to help. They don't really know a solution that works, right? So there's service shortage. When it comes times to produce results, they don't really have the capacity to help people get results. So there's a shortage. When you have service shortage, you're not going to know who to help because you don't even know how to help anyone. So service shortage effectively means not knowing who to help, right? Service shortage focuses on who do I help, right? So if you don't know who to help, then that's another reason why you don't know who to sell to. And that's another reason why authors are broke. If you don't know who to sell to, then who is going to buy? Who's going to give you money? Nobody. The next one is what I call helper haze. And this one is similar to the previous one, but it's not knowing how to help. So you don't know who to help, right? But that's not all. You don't even know how to help, right? So that's a big problem. So if you don't know who to help and how to help who to help, then you don't even have a business. You don't have a book business. You don't have a market to serve. And this is where many authors are. They've written books for which there's no market. They've written books and they don't know who it's meant for. They've written books and they don't know how that book will help who it's meant for. Now the next problem is that most authors don't know how to deliver value, right? I call this impact ignorance, right? They don't know how to deliver value. They don't even know what value is, right? So when you don't know how to deliver value, then you don't know who to sell to. You're not going to be able to sell. You're not going to be able to make money. You don't know how to deliver. You see, delivery can make or mar your efforts as an author. You may have good content, but if you are not good at delivering that impact in different forms, you are going to be limited, right? I know of many authors who are good at writing, but they are terrible at speaking. You need to work on that skill. You need to get good at speaking. Even for me, I had to work on my speaking skills, right? I had to get good at speaking for me to be able to get good at selling, for me to get good at communicating my message. I had to learn. So now let's come to the solution, right? What is the solution to all of this? I have one quick solution for you. You want to learn how to attract buyers with big problems. When you get good at attracting buyers with big problems, then you'll be able to fix the who problem. You'll be able to fix the problem of not knowing who to sell to. Now let's go to the next point. And the next point about like why many authors can't sell is they don't understand the money game. Now, what do I mean when I say they don't understand the money game? Many authors, they don't have what I call investor instinct, right? They lack investor instinct. And the reason for this is because many authors do not understand business. They don't know how to think like a businessman. They don't understand the purpose of money. Now, let's break this down, right? The first one is money misunderstanding. Now, many authors think that money is a pool, and so they want to store up money in this pool. They want to store up money in this pool. They want to accumulate cash, right? Because they don't understand the purpose of money. To them, they think that money is a pool to be viewed. So here's an author. He has some money, and then he's going to stash it up somewhere, and he's just going to keep viewing the money, right? Are authors that are struggling, authors that are broke, while they think money is a pool to be viewed, and they try to accumulate cash, they try to use their monies to pay bills and pay bills only without thinking of ways they can invest in their gift, in their ideas, in their craft as an author. Serious authors, they see money as a tool to be used. Right? So now they send money on an errand when they have it. And so they are able to use money, they are able to leverage their wealth, they are able to leverage their paycheck, leverage whatever it is they have so that they can level up their business as an author. But because most authors, they don't even have business understanding, so they have a mentality of an employee, they have the mentality of instant gratification, right? So whenever there's an opportunity for them to generate income or generate cash flow from their book, because that opportunity does not include instant gratification, because obviously when you invest money, right, when you invest money, it's going to take some time before that investment begins to generate result, right? So it takes money understanding, investor instinct to be able to invest money and have the patience to wait and allow that money to produce results for you because you've sent that money on an errand. But if you lack this mindset, you're going to see money as a tool, or rather as a pool, right? You're going to see money as a pool instead of as a tool. Now, the next mistake in this category is what I call investor illiteracy. And that's not knowing how to grow your money, not knowing how to grow what you earn, right? When you learn how to grow your money, you're going to become really, really good at creating, a cash infusion scenario for yourself and for your business as an author, right? You're going to learn how to grow your money and put your money in things that will create income for you. Many authors do not know this, and so they are stuck, right? Investment illiteracy is not knowing how to grow what you earn. Now, the next one is what I call leverage limitation. Now, I wish I could spend more time on all of these different principles, but I'm just going to give you some basic explanation to get you on the road to becoming better at selling. But there's more to all of this than meet the eyes. Now, leverage limitation means doing everything alone without systems, right? You see, as an author, you are tempted to want to do everything. You want to write, you want to publish, you want to format yourself, you want to market, you want to do all of these things, and so you get yourself overwhelmed. You get yourself overworked and overwhelmed, right? As an author, you want to spend more time selling than you spend writing. You want to spend more time selling than you spend doing all the other activities, right? Because selling is the most important thing. This is where you actually do the communication, right? Where you actually take the value that you have created and packaged and put it out there for people who need it, right? Now, the next one is what I call belief blockage. What do I mean by belief blockage? Not trusting your ability to earn. If you don't believe that you have what it takes to get paid and to get seen and to get heard, right? To get heard, seen, and paid as an author, then nothing anybody does will make you sell, will make you get paid, will make you get heard as an author. You have to believe in yourself so much, even when nobody believes in yourself. You believe in yourself so much that you go all in and make this dream of yours, become a reality. And then the next one is system scarcity. And this means you're not building repeatable revenue engines. So what's the solution? What's the solution to these? Let's talk about the solution very quickly. The solution is to use leverage, to learn to use leverage, to learn to multiply what's in your hand by planting it and then systematize. You want to learn to use leverage. What is leverage? Think of leverage like this. You want to lift a heavy load. You use leverage, right? Instead of doing it yourself, instead of being like this guy who wants to lift it himself, you use leverage. Now, this is leverage, right? And then when you learn how to use leverage, you start multiplying your impact. When you multiply your impact and then you systematize it, you turn it into systems that are repeatable, right? So today we've talked about 3 big problems that makes authors not to be able to sell their books, right? We've talked about 3 big problems that makes authors not to be able to sell their books. The first one is authors don't know how to sell. The second one is authors don't know who to sell. And then the third one is authors don't understand the money game. I'm going to leave it here for now. There's so much to talk about, but I'm going to leave it here for now. I hope this blessed you. If you're an author and you have books stacked in your basement, you have books stacked in your garage like an artifact, and you don't know what to do with those books, You should be getting paid for those books, but you're not getting paid. In fact, since you publish a book, you only manage to sell a few copies to family and friends who only bought it to support you. Then allow me to invite you to the Publishing Profits Challenge. This is a 5-day live experience, a 5-day live challenge. It's not recorded, it's a live challenge. Oh, you're going to see me live, and I'm going to be helping authors like you from all around the world to fix their book sales problem. On the 1, we fix their book marketing. On the 2, we fix their book messaging. On the 3, we fix their book methods. On the 4, we fix their book monetization. And on the 5, we fix their book momentum. By the end of these 5 days, you're going to walk away with a clear plan that will help you get paid what you're worth as an author. If that is something that makes sense to you, if that's something that resonates with you, then I'll drop the link below. Go click that link and grab a ticket and join us for the next challenge, and I'll see you inside. On that note, I'll bring today's conversation to an end. I'll see you on the next episode. Till then, have a good one, and bye bye.